yourself with your first game?
Yes, sir. I think at the end of the day, I think winning. I think that's the ultimate pride. But at the same time, self-criticize. I had a chance to put the game away at the end of the third and in the fourth quarter, and I just got to make better decisions. Endanger the ball on that first play action. Just got to throw it away. I think it's 2nd and 10 or 2nd and long, and just play the next play. Those are the things that kind of look back and wish to play the plays you had back. And the second one is try to make it back shoulder throw, just leave it more outside. And I wouldn't take that throw back. I'll just put it more outside, and I think Kobe makes that play more than he doesn't. So those things happen, but at the same time we got, as an offense, and starting with myself, help put the game away with how phenomenal defense is playing.
Drake, you went 10 to your first 10 on Saturday. A lot of that was kind of the shorter stuff, getting guys involved. How much did that kind of help with the maybe comfortability throughout the rest of the game as you guys kind of opened up a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's what you always want to do as any quarterback. Kind of getting a rhythm. It's kind of like basketball, hitting a few layups to start, and then kind of extending the range. Just the same type thing. Hitting a few short passes, some easier ones, and kind of getting the groove. And then, like you said, open it up and have some more down the field plays. That's I think that's how any quarterback likes. Unless sometimes I'll kind of like to open up the shot. Just kind of either of those. Make a defense stay honest, or make defense come up and hit them deep. So that's the mentality. Yeah, Huzzies. Yeah. I think he played great all night. First time in a big game for him. Transferring in from East Tennessee State, I can just see the smile on his face. Going into the game. He'd never been in that kind of atmosphere. He loved it. And he showed up under the lights, and that's the kind of players we have, and shows our potential. I think it was huge. Just the momentum that it set for us, and even with the first 3 and out, starting that and going down and score kind of set the tone, and just that game in general sets the tone for the season. So just proud of the guys. Got to get back at it and get ready for App State.
No sacks, 1 TFL. From your perspective, what was the difference in the protection Saturday night as opposed to maybe some of the issues a year ago?
Yeah, no, those guys are. I don't think there was much issues last year either. I think it's my job to get the ball out, and at the same time, those guys up front, they work hard. They work their butts off. It starts with Corey Gaynor and got some other old heads. A lot of them are vet guys, 4 and 5 year guys. You don't expect them to make a lot of mistakes, and that's what we expect from them up front. And it's my job to get the ball out, and that's our goal every week, have no sacks. And that 1 TFL, we had a run through an outside zone, and I'm sure they'd like to have that play back, but it was almost a flawless night from the guys up front.
Staying on that, how much does it help having a guy like British who is experienced at protecting back there, and also some of the improvements that Marion's made in that area?
No doubt, 2 big backs that are not only big in making guys miss and hard to bring down, but they're great in protection. Like you said, they'll stick their nose in somebody's face, and I think the best part about it is relationships we have, and the willingness for the guys to block for British and the guys to protect me. That's what it's about. It's not about executing at the end of the day. It's just my willingness to keep them from tackling my quarterback. That's what it is, or getting to my running back. So that's the idea behind it.
Drake, I hear what you're saying about winning the game is most important. When we talked to Chip yesterday, he said that after the 2 picks you threw, you immediately on the phone were like, "That was my bad. I screwed up on that." For your personal game though, working into Chip's offense, first game, how would you assess how all that went? You got to win.
Yeah, no doubt.
How would you sort of grade you guys in terms of a first look in that offense and what you think you're capable of doing?
Yes, sir. I think that first half, especially, and kind of into that, the first 2 drives of the second half. That shows kind of the ceiling of this. Not even the ceiling, just the upside of this offense. Running it, throwing short, throwing deep, play action, boot stuff, get me out of the pocket. A lot of quick short play, get the guys the ball in space. That's the idea. I think Coach Lindsay did a great job. I think we did a great job. Having an idea of what we want to do going into the first few drives. I think we executed it well, and kind of some creativity stuff and some stuff just flicking it out there and letting guys make plays. I thought we had a good plan, and I think Coach Lindsay and the rest of the offensive staff, I thought we had the right guys getting the ball, and like I said, I think if I had those 2 plays back, I think we end up looking at this and with a bigger score, a bigger win, and kind of a better feeling going into the App State. But at the same time, those things happen. That's part of my game is making plays. I'm not going to change anything. I made some plays the other night that it's the same thing. I just threw a little bit behind Gavin, and stuff happens. So.
Can y'all throw it out of the Wildcat?
Out of Wildcat, I'm not going to say. I think we got some stuff. I think they need to worry about stopping power first because we're going to run that until they stop it. So British and them. But now I'm going to run a fade, and they may throw it up. I don't know. We'll see.
I saw you signaling first down past the one dude's head.
Yeah, I gave him a little release, but we'll see. I mean, I'll tell them to throw me up a fade, but who knows? They'll do it.
You mentioned wanting to make sure you're processing things quickly, getting the ball in our hands quickly to help the offensive line. Were you happy with the speed that you were working with? And do you think that comes from just having a second year as a starter?
Yeah, I think that's my mentality. Going in every game, getting the ball out quick, getting to the guys, let them in space, and it builds confidence in the offensive line too. I think anytime starting off in the early with a sack or two, it's just demoralizing. And just trying to get the ball out, get it to the guys, and kind of, 3-yard gains better than trying to hold it and wait for a bigger route or a bigger play. So that's my mentality. I think we did a nice job of that, and that's what I've kind of told myself in the offseason, to try to be more patient and just take what they give me.
You talk about each of their
versatility of the tight end, and it seemed like you distributed out to all three of them pretty well. Definitely one of the deeper position groups you guys have on this team.
No doubt. They're great players. They're great kids. They love to win. That's the main thing about them. John Cope is just battling the whole night. Kamari made a couple big catches. And, Bryson's a problem, a matchup nightmare. So they all block their butts off, and also at the same time they can all make a play with the ball in the air. So I'm glad to have those guys, and I'm glad we got 3 of them. Not often you see a team with those caliber guys, 3 of them. So.
Sorry, I thought you were finished. I was going to ask about the tight end. What does that do to defenses when you have 3 guys that can line up a lot of spots and do so much? They're very versatile.
Oh yeah, I think it's tough to game plan. You just got 3 guys that you can go into 11 personnel look with them in there, or you can go into a tight 12 personnel look and just in and out of different personnel and different formations. It makes it tough. They have to game plan for a lot, and stuff that we can open up. We can do a lot of different stuff with them. So it's pretty awesome having those guys.
Greg, the game that happened last year obviously was pretty wild. And it was a great game for you personally, not a great game for you all's defense. Like, just what do you remember leaving out of Boone that day? And just like, you guys were 2-0.
Yes, sir.
But
yeah.
I think it was kind of I don't know if disappointing is the right word, but I think you wanted not to have the performance in the fourth quarter that you guys had. Like, what do you just remember on the trip back and just think about, well, we've won these games, but that thing was nuts, and just what do you remember about
Yeah, I think it was just one of those things. We just want to get out there with a win. I think that's the big thing. Whether it was 2-0 or whatever it was, 60-something to 60-something. We just want to get out there with a win. That's all that matters. I think the worst thing about it is, like Coach Brown always says, it put a bad perspective on the defense. We had a chance offensively to put it away. I think we were up 2 or 3 scores with the ball after they made a stop, and I think they brought cover 0, and I missed Kamari over the top. At the same time, I think it shows. It kind of showed the grit, and it kind of helped propel us to a 9-1. Kind of was the start of just believing in our guys and winning a lot of close games, because it ended up mattering down the road and winning a lot of close games. So I think it was huge, but at the same time, I know what you're saying. I mean, kind of positive and negative. I think we took it more positively. And Coach Brown's, the worst thing you want to do is get out of there with the loss and Boone. So I don't know. I think he always says why we play there anyway, but nothing good can happen because we're supposed to beat them. And if not, then it's just national news. So.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying too. Though, like you said, like that was the start of some dramatic wins for you guys. So.
No doubt, yeah, it helped us down the road a lot. Whether it's Duke or Miami or Virginia. I mean, all of those games are close games that we end up pulling out, and I think part of it's from the early on games, what happens when stuff gets tough and adversity hits.
One of the things Max said Saturday night was the importance of stacking the performance. So how much has that been stressed the last couple of days to you guys, that stacking the performances, that becomes who you are?
Yeah, it's a huge emphasis. Coach Brown preaches that, stacking days and stacking good practices. I think he just mentioned, Coach Beamer said on Tuesday they didn't have a good practice, and that stuff matters. So just bringing it out here, every day, in practice. They say, practice matters, and it matters for the games and, how well we execute in practice and the looks we get. So this stuff matters, and just Coach Brown's, he's been harping on it.
Just curious, you just mentioned that Coach Beamer said last week they didn't have good practice, and I remember that was circulating out there. Do you pay much attention see stuff like that from the opposing team during game week? What kind of reports are coming out, or did you just happen to see that?
No, I didn't even see it until Coach Brown mentioned it this morning. So I usually try not to look at a lot of stuff. Just focus on watching some film and throwing the rock. So getting to class now too.
You were talking with, sorry to cut you off. We were talking with Coach Brown yesterday just about the team culture. He brought up team chaplain Mitch Mason.
Yeah.
Just his role in that. Can you speak to his impact on just developing the team culture?
Yeah, Mitch, he's kind of the rock of our program. He he shows up every day. You know what he's going through. You can't even imagine it. One of the best things Coach Brown says is, if we all put our problems up there, on the board, and a lot of us want to take our problems that we have back, and that's a great thing with Mitch. He's going through so much. He had COVID last year, and he told a story about him getting back on the bus. The last time he got on the bus was when he got COVID, and couldn't make any of the other road trips for the rest of the season. And it just shows his will and his perseverance to get back on that bus. Which almost could have killed him with the disease he's going through. And he's just an inspiration. Him and Ty Lee, and now the situation with Tez. A lot of negatives that I think we're doing a great job of turning into positives.
That's right, with Canaan.
Yeah.
I mean, monster night. Like, I know that when the defense is on the field, you're over there like getting stuff together for your next series. But like, what have you seen out of this guy just in terms of his growth as a pass rusher, and what he's been able to find in that position, at the jack position, sort of like making it his own type of deal?
Yes, sir. First off, I think this is glad to see somebody else. I was glad to see Cayman do it to somebody else. He's doing it to us all the time in practice. Part of it is like, man, can we just not block him, or is he that good? But just glad to see the whole defensive line, the whole defense out there on Saturday. It was awesome to see. And one of the things about Cayman, we go throw all the time in the indoor, and D-line's one of those positions where you don't see a lot of guys getting extra work. And Cayman, numerous times I saw him over there in the offseason. He works his butt off, and probably the strongest dude in our team too. So all those things that, the proof's in the pudding. So he puts it in, and he's finally getting, recognition, and kind of what he deserves. So.
Greg, last one. Greg, what kind of atmosphere do you expect for the home opener this weekend, considering the range of emotions that the program has been through the past couple of weeks, the traffic the last week?
No doubt.
The Ted Walker situation, just everything. What type of atmosphere you expect, not only from the fans, but from you guys, just getting the play in front of them for the first time out there?
For sure. Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think we're hoping start off home opener on the bang. I think last year with FAMU, and then we lost some home ones. I think at Notre Dame, State, Georgia Tech. We got to play well at home. So we just want to handle business and get our home fans ready to show out for this year at home, because we have some big home ones down the road.
All right, thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Greg.